Hi, I'm Ashley, the Monogram Mompreneur, and welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be doing an In the Hoop baby bib. This one is from One Rocking Mama on Etsy, and I'll link it below. So I'm using the 8x12 size In the Hoop baby bib, and she offers it in the quilted version, and I'm just using the plain version. So what you'll need is your fabric, you'll need some quilt batting, you'll need some 505 spray. This is an adhesive spray. You'll need your 8x12 hoop, your biggest hoop, and then I'm using tearaway stabilizer for the personalization, as well as some scissors and my Dritz snap tools. It comes with some snaps and the pliers and the stabber thing, and then your sewing machine and your embroidery machine. So, and you're gonna need your iron today. So let's jump right in and get started on making these cute baby bibs. They're super quick and easy. So again, it has a snap, and you could quilt it if you wanted that quilted effect. She offers that, but I'm just using the plain one, and I'm using the same fabric on the front and the back. So I have two pieces of fabric cut so they're big enough to cover the whole area of my 8x12 hoop. So you can use the same fabric, or you can use like a minky or like a chenille on the back of your baby bib. So what I'm going to do is I cut the quilt batting to be bigger than my hoop, so that way I could hoop it comfortably and I didn't have to worry about it falling out. So I'm just going to hoop my quilt batting. I know I never use hoops on this channel. I think this might be my first tutorial with a hoop. So just making sure it's nice and tight. All the screws are adjusted and it's tight, and that sucker's not going anywhere. So next what we're going to do is we're going to spray our stabilizer with some 505 spray. Make sure you don't spray it near your machine or anything. This is just like temporary adhesive spray. And then we are going to place our fabric right side up on the hoop. And we're just going to smooth it all out, make sure there's no wrinkles, make sure it's lined up correctly. If you have some lines that you want to make sure are straight. And so we're just pressing all the wrinkles out, and that's our first step. Okay, so the next step is if you are personalizing, you want to make sure you put the name or monogram first in the stitch order. That way it stitches first, and you could do the snap holes next, and then it will do the final stitch out where you place the other piece of fabric on top. And so you want to make sure you have it in the correct order. Okay, so next I have it on the machine. I'm going to place my tearaway stabilizer under the part that I'm putting the name or monogram on, and I'm just customizing it to make sure it's not covering the whole bib, because then you'd have to rip it off. So I'm just doing the part that I'm going to have the name at. Alright, so next I'm just going to stitch the name. I think this font may be from Babyville Embroidery, and I'll link it below if I can find it. And so we're just going to stitch the name. So it did that. Now it's moving on to the placement stitches where the snaps are going to go. So it just does two little circles. And after it stitches the placement stitches for the snaps would be the time where it would probably go into the quilting stitch. So if you're going to use the quilting stitch, she has like a zigzag and a circle I think included. You would want to do that one first before you do the monogram or name. So because I'm not doing the quilting stitch, I didn't include that in the video. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to add our second piece of fabric right side down. So whatever side you want to be on the outside, you put down. So right sides together. And again, you can use the coordinating fabric, or you can use like a terry cloth or minky or chenille or whatever type of absorbent fabric you want. I was going for more of a like classic bib. So I'm just aligning, making sure my lines are straight and it's not all wonky, and then we're going to do the stitch out where it's going to stitch the actual bib. Okay, and make sure you don't use your fingers, you use some type of like popsicle stick, or I'm using the tool that came with my machine, and I'm just guiding, making sure the fabric doesn't get bunched. And as you can see, it's doing like a triple bean stitch around, which makes it super secure. I know a lot of people say In the Hoop takes longer, but I love the security of In the Hoop products because it does, again, a triple stitch. So there it is finished. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take it off the hoop And we're just going to take away the tearaway stabilizer that we used for our name or the monogram. We're just gently ripping that off, and you can see it kind of got caught in the edge, so that's why you only want to do the part that you're embroidering on. And then, so there you have the front and the back. And we're just gonna start trimming around. We're gonna go about 1/4 of an inch around the seam, and then where there's the opening, we're gonna do like a trapezoid type shape, about 1 inch. As you can see, I'm like trimming it like 1 inch of a trapezoid is the best way I can describe it. Outside of that opening, I'm just going 1/4 of an inch all the way around, making sure not to snip any of the stitches. And I much prefer in the hoop methods. I know some people prefer just cutting out, pinning, and sewing, but I love in the hoop projects. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have our little trapezoid, and then we're just going to turn the bib inside out, making sure we get all the little edges, especially in that neck part. We're just turning, gently working it. You can use a popsicle stick or chopstick if you need help. So we're just making sure all the edges are nice and clean, and there we go. Look how cute that is. Okay, so now we're going to iron it and make sure it's nice and pressed before we do our top stitching. So we're going to fold that little trapezoid in to make a nice clean edge. And we're just pressing all the corners, making sure it looks nice and neat. And you can see that's so nice and pressed. So you can either whip stitch or top stitch this. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't have to do that. You could just use a needle and thread. I'm just going around and gently top stitching this. I know my face is so close to the machine, and you can see I had a band-aid because I tried to put the snaps on before, and you definitely want to do the snaps next. So top stitch first or whip stitch, and then we'll do the snaps. So those snaps, I know they're plastic, but they are so strong. I could not get the snaps off. So don't you worry about the snaps. If they're done correctly, they are going to stay on. So look how good that looks. It's so finished and polished. The top stitching really finishes it off. Again, you could do the whip stitch, which is what I'm going to do with this one. But I'm just pressing it, making sure it looks nice and finished, making sure those edges are clean, and then we're going to add the snaps. Okay, so 1 second, let's see, we got so this is the Dritz snap kit. I got this at Hobby Lobby, I believe, and it comes with a backer and the female and male studs, as well as the pokey thing. I don't know what the correct terminology is. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the placement stitch, and we're going to gently poke a hole. Keep your fingers out the way, and we're just going to poke a hole right there, kind of wiggle it around, make it big enough for that section. Then we're going to poke the hole down there, gently wiggle, keep those fingers out of the way. And so now we're going to take our little snap doohickey, I don't know what it's called, and we're going to take the one that looks like a nail. I know these are great. I'm sure there's a great tutorial out there on how to use this, but so we're going to take, I think I have the female stud, and I'm going to put the nail looking thing, the one with the pokey part, on the back, push it through gently, the layers of fabric, and then I'm going to put the female stud. I don't think there's a wrong way as long as you use two different ones. And I'm going to take the plastic part, the clear part, and put it over the female part and squeeze, and that's how you attach a snap. It's so cool if you've never used a snap kit before. I never knew how they did it, and it's pretty neat. Alright, so next I'm going to take the one that looks like a nail, and I'm going to take that and put it opposite. So I'm going to put the nail part, the flat smooth part, on the top, and then we're going to put the male part directly on that nail part. And I'm sorry, I know this is exciting. Then we're going to take the plastic doohickey clear part and squeeze on that nail part, and ta-da! You got an anatomy lesson today in your embroidery tutorial. So here we go, and that's how the snaps work. It's so cute and adorable, and I'm telling you, these snaps are insanely strong. So that is the finished look, and that's it for today's In the Hoop Bib tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll link everything I used today in the description box below. And please make sure you hit subscribe. We would love to have you here. And until next time, bye for now.